Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. I have this to offer you.
And this is...
This is the earliest sticker-sealed Super Mario Brothers Nintendo game.
That's pretty amazing. I know some of them go for a lot of money. Chum.
What?
Can you come over in here and help me for a moment?
What's up, Rick?
Okay, the guy has a, I guess this is a really early one.
The earliest print still sealed of Super Mario Brothers in existence.
Oh, wow.
Just never really been into video games. I still like pinball.
I'm coming into the pawn shop today to sell my Super Mario Brothers Nintendo game. It's the only sticker-sealed version of Super Mario Brothers known to exist. It's unique. It's a part of history. This is the most important video game, in my opinion, that exists. I'm hoping to sell it for $1 million.
Super Mario Brothers. Him and his brother Luigi, you know, would go in the sewers of New York and battle the bad guys in hopes to save the princess. The character of Mario actually started in the game Donkey Kong over in Japan. And Super Mario Brothers is pretty much what started video game consoles as we know, like here in America today.
Okay, so this was the first game on the Nintendo console.
Correct. In retro gaming, Nintendo is the most collectible, specifically the NES, which this is.
Mind if I take a look?
Absolutely, sure.
Oh, this is the, yeah, this isn't the shrink wrap version. This is the sticker still version, which I don't know too much about, but I know these are pretty rare.
This one also happens to be an incredibly high grade. Even if the other ones are found, there's no way it's going to come close to this condition.
All right, how much do you want for it?
It's a piece of history. It's something that's hard for me to part with, but I would sell it for $1 million.
$1 million.
Yep.
All right.
It's a lot of money for a video game.
I agree. It is a lot of money.
I know there's video game collecting going on. I know I've seen some recent auctions where I was sort of shocked when, like, there's some video games sold for $29,000, just the cartridges. But I didn't know the market exists for six-figure games, much less $1 million game. From all my research, WATA is the company that grades these. These are the ones you trust. So I'm actually going to go call them up and see if I can get one of their guys down here. I would really like to get their opinion, but you know, no offense. I mean, I just never heard of a video game going for $1 million, and I just don't know if that exists or not. Okay, I will be right back.
Okay.
I think Mario hit him on the head with a pipe wrench. So he wants $1 million for this thing, which I think is insane.
Yeah, I remember it, and I know why he's asking astronomical money on this one. This is probably the most significant piece of video game history that's ever passed through our grading company.
Okay, and he also said that this was the best condition.
Yeah, so what makes this special, there's a lot of different indicators. First, you're gonna see this sticker, so it's not shrink wrapped. It's from the test market launch of the NES, as far as we know, which was only in 1985 and 1986. No one even knew who Nintendo was. But back then, they were just another company. Once they started mass producing these and sending them across the country, they had to have something that would last on the shelves longer, which is also why seeing this in this condition is just, it's a complete anomaly. This is the second print, and it's the earliest known. There's no other second prints or even first prints known that are still sealed. So we don't know the exact number of copies that were printed in the first test market launch, but we're estimating it's somewhere around the 10,000 print run. And how many of those survived sealed? One, as far as we know.
So if this went into an auction today, your estimate would be?
It's really hard to tell. It hasn't sold on the open market. As video games are starting to be viewed more as art and history, not just these relics of nostalgia, this is it. This is the one that started it all. It's got the trifecta. It's got rarity, it's got popularity, everyone knows Mario, and it's got significance to collectors. But you know, with things like this, it's high risk, high reward. I know of firm offers that have been turned down at $300,000. Goes up from there. There's no ceiling, really.
Okay, I learned a lot today.
Absolutely. My pleasure, anytime. Good luck.
Thank you.
At first, I thought you were crazy. I'm literally a little bit shocked and a little bit speechless, but realistically, what do you want for it?
I'm asking $1 million.
There's a big business in these right here, and I just been looking into maybe getting into it a little bit, but I'm not going to get into it with this kind of figures to start with.
I understand. I understand.
Have a great day. I learned a lot, and obviously I have a lot of research to do.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. It's good
All
to
right,
meet
have a
you.
good one, man.
Thank you. I'm okay that no offer was made. I'm happy to keep the game, and it's a piece of history, so I'm happy to have it in my collection.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Like to sell a couple of Nintendo World Championship game cards.
Oh, wow. I've never actually seen these in person.
Most people haven't. These are the most coveted video games on the planet.
So do you have to blow in it to start the game?
Probably. That'll never change no matter what Nintendo game you have. I'm a big Nintendo fan, I grew up with it, and so now I collect the games. It was a time when Nintendo dominated pop culture. While they mean a lot to me, I think I need to cash more right now.
So what do you know about the Nintendo World Championship?
You enter the competition in 3 age groups. You play Super Mario Brothers, Rad Racer, and Tetris. And the winners competes for lots of cool prizes like $10,000 in cash and a 1990 Geo Metro. So awesome prizes. The gray one was traded into a local game shop where I lived, and the owner got in touch with me. I made him an offer, we made a deal. These were actually played in the competition. This, however, is even more extremely rare than that one. This was a Nintendo Power promotion giveaway. They gave away 26 of them.
Oh, you got the magazine.
Oh, yeah, these are great. So they gave out 1 to the first prize winner and then 25 to second prize winners. Today, there's maybe only a dozen or so that are still confirmed to exist.
I gotta ask, have you ever played them?
I have played them with a friend on 2 different TVs, just like the competition was. Here's a dip switch here, which changes the time on them. This was a time competition. These were individually numbered, so no one else has a number 205. And the gold one is really the same thing, but in a gold case.
So how much did you pay for these?
More than most people should have, probably.
You don't want to tell me, huh?
Not particularly, no.
And how much did you want for them?
$35,000.
$35,000, wow. That's a lot of money for me to fork out for some Nintendo games. You know, I have some concerns to whether or not that's how limited they are. I don't know too much about these things, rather than they are rare and they are cool. So I got a buddy I want to call to come down and check these things out.
Okay.
Okay, give me just a second. I'll see if he's available.
This is really cool. I mean, we don't only have the gray one, we got the gold one here from the 1990 World Championship of Nintendo. This is amazing. This is like from the first World Series of gaming. This is like one of those items where like the clouds open and like the heaven choir and...
Not many are left.
Exactly, exactly. That's so cool, man.
All right, so I get that these games are collectible and they're cool. Are they authentic? And how much are they worth?
Well, these all had numbers, the gray games here. The dip switches, everything looks right. You mind if I take a closer look at the golden?
Sure, I promise not to break it.
I'll be very careful.
All right.
There's always, compared to a regular cartridge, just to have a little more weight, being that the extra chips in this piece here. The label looks right. Everything on the outside looks 100% the way it should. You also have some documentation too. Can you tell me a little more about that?
So here's the bill of sale, and this has the individual I purchased it from, and he was an original owner. Here's his name right here in the issue of Nintendo Power.
Wow. With all the documentation, I'm gonna say without a doubt, this is 100% original. Both pieces here. And if you're a diehard gamer, you know what these games are. Everybody wants them, and that's what drives the value up on these 2 games. I would put a value on the gray between 5,000 to 8,000. This is a really nice example.
And what about the gold one?
Well, the gold one, the condition is amazing. The label's great. I'm gonna have to put that on the higher end, between 20 to 22 grand on that piece. You should have no problem getting that. They rarely ever come up to market.
Okay, well, thank you.
No problem, and thanks for bringing me, man. I love to see this stuff. Back in 1990, Nintendo only been out for about 5 years. They had the World Championship. Anything related to that event is highly collectible, and the gold cartridge from that event is probably the holy grail of gaming.
All right, so you feel comfortable with what he said?
I think my price before was fair at $35,000.
Yeah, not even comfortable coming anywhere near that price.
No?
You have to understand I have to make money.
Well, that's the thing. The fact that they don't come up for sale is because they're so coveted. So you could charge almost whatever you want, and there'll be someone willing to get it because the other 12 or 13 out there, they might never be for sale ever. This will be the only one for sale.
I'm not supposed to make super big deals like this, but this could be a once-in-a-lifetime kind of buy. I mean, I see where you're coming from. They are very rare, but if you like to make some cash money right now, I'll give you $15,000 in $100 bills.
No, I think that's too far apart from where I'm at right now. I think maybe I can go down to maybe 32.
You gotta see where I'm coming from. I have to look at it in the absolute worst terms, so I have to look at them like they're gonna sell for the lowest amount, and I have to look at it like it's gonna sit here for at least a year. So what's a more realistic price you're looking for?
I can't come down that much off it.
Okay, well, I mean, I wish I could offer you more, but I'm already stretching what I'm allowed to spend. We're about 15,000 apart, so.
Well, maybe it wasn't meant to be right now.
Well, good luck selling them.
I thought the offer of $15,000 was too low for me, but hopefully down the line, someone will offer what I'm asking for.
Hey, what do we have here?
This is called an M82 unit that is a Nintendo NES demo kiosk. So it was placed in retail stores, and you could demo 12 different games on it.
So, in simpler terms, you play Nintendo on it.
You could play Nintendo on it.
Okay.
I'm here today to sell my M82 demo unit at Nintendo Entertainment Center. The M82 was distributed to retailers back in the 80s so that people could come in and play 12 different games and try them before they bought them. I am a little bit of a video game nerd. I'm a video game collector. Today I'm looking to get about $4,500 for the Nintendo.
It is really interesting. I mean, Nintendo in 1983 came out with the Famicom. It was basically an acronym for the family computer. It was released in Japan. In 1985, they came out with the Nintendo Entertainment System. They did not want to call it a video game.
That's right.
Because at this point, home video games were basically dead in the United States because everyone got burned out on the Atari 2600.
That's right.
So Nintendo did something that really wasn't done very often back then. It's not even done today. They told all the retailers in New York, if you can't sell them, we'll buy them all back, which would have probably bankrupted the company.
That's why you would have needed something like this, because if you were able to play something like this full of different games, it might convince you to buy a Nintendo right there.
This was only at a retail center, only sent to retailers themselves. So to get one of these is pretty darn rare. There's basically 12 Nintendos in this thing.
So how did you get this?
Somebody who was friends with someone who worked at a retail center bought it and then resold it to me.
So it works just like a Nintendo?
Just like a standard NES, you can just play 12 games. That's the difference.
So you have to blow the cartridge out before you play it?
Absolutely.
Okay. How much you want for it?
I'm looking for $4,500 for it.
It's super cool, I'll give you that. Anything early Nintendo and certain rare Nintendo things are going for insane money. I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is worth money. I just don't.
Yeah.
I actually have a guy that is in the video game business, like he deals in all this vintage stuff.
Sure.
If I can call him up and have him take a look at it, we can go from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna go give him a call, hang out, and don't break it, chum.
I'm gonna go find a TV, we'll test this thing out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a M82 NES.
You don't see these every day. I love this kind of stuff. As a preservationist or someone who loves the history of this is really something cool. Back in the day, stores that were selling Nintendo games would have to look through these things called merchandise manuals. And they would pick different items that they would want to put in their stores to help sell their games, essentially. Something like this costs a store owner a lot of money. And what I love about this one is that it's not something you just look at. This functions.
Okay, cool. Let's test it out. Is it all plugged in, chum?
Yeah, it's plugged in. You probably don't know how to do it, but you have to turn the power on.
What game is this?
So this is actually really cool too. This is kind of something different. This is called a homebrew. People who loved NES games and also knew how to program stuff, they started programming their own NES games. It's something someone crafted in their own garage or their basement. They weren't licensed by Nintendo or any official company. It's just a passion project.
Someone just made this?
Yeah, this guy, Kevin Hanley, programmed this game as well as several other fantastic games. I think this one's called Nescape. And you gotta kind of go through the different rooms, gotta just kind of figure your way out.
This is cool.
There's a very niche kind of aspect to the video game collecting where it's not just about the games, it's about all the peripherals, it's about the display units. Basically, if it wasn't meant to be collected, it's collectible.
Okay. So what's it worth? I mean, is it in good shape? Is it,
Yeah, surprisingly it is. On the open market, these used to sell for $1,500, $2,000. So they've been valuable for a long time. But given that one hasn't come up in a while and that they're harder and harder to find, I'd say this is probably closer to $3,000 if it came up on the open market today.
All right. Thanks, man. I
Always
appreciate
happy
it.
to help.
All right, see you later.
Thanks.
He says I can probably get $3 grand out of it. I'll give you 2.
I could go to 3,500.
It would make zero economic sense for something that has a current retail value of $3,000, pay $3,500.
I understand. I think the market's higher than that.
Okay. Anyway, thanks for bringing it in, man.
Thank
It's
you.
really cool. And help him out here, chum.
Here you go. Sorry, my boss is a cheap ass.
No worries.
I need to learn more about these homebrew games.
They're cool. They're fun. I didn't make a sale today, but I still have a couple lives left, and I think I'm gonna hit the reset button and make a sale somewhere else.
So what do we got here?
I have a Nintendo game television.
So it's a television with a Nintendo inside of it.
Yeah, it's actually on the bottom.
I don't know why, but it's just something about this thing that makes me want to pull the cartridge out and blow the dust out of it.
I'm at the pawn shop today to sell my Nintendo game television. When I got this as a kid, I thought this was the coolest thing that I ever could have gotten as a gift. When you see something like that, you're like, wow, I can't believe I just got this. And then you spend like 10 years of your life just playing the thing. I know that they're pretty rare, so I'm hoping to get $1,200 for my Nintendo game television.
This is cool. You do have the OG video game system here with the Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers. The game that your original Nintendo came with the Duck Hunt pistol and the controller.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo and it's Sharp. I mean, they're both pretty huge companies in Japan. Sharp, they're basically the GE of Japan. I mean, they make everything from light bulbs to televisions to washers and dryers. And Nintendo, it was the first video game system that every single kid you knew had. Mario's probably as popular as Coca-Cola. Everybody had a Nintendo and everybody had a TV. Let's put them both together and kind of sell it for a little bit lower of a price. But I think both companies kind of realized they made more money selling them apart than they actually did together. So 1990, they discontinued them. When you see the legs on it like this was definitely mounted on a shelf at an electronics store, and it was used as a demo model. Does it work?
Yeah, go for it. You can turn it on, check it out.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. Clearly it works. So, what are you looking to get out of it?
I was hoping to get $1,200.
Okay, I wish you would have just brought me in an original Nintendo with this game and this setup right here, because that would probably be worth $2,000, $3,000 today right now.
Wow.
But you brought me an old TV, and you don't really have a Nintendo, even though you have a Nintendo. It's not the square box Nintendo everybody had when they were a kid that wants to collect them. But it is cool, and there is a market out there for these right now. I'll tell you what, I'd give you $500 for it.
Can you do 8?
No, but I could do 650.
650? All right, I think we could do 650.
Okay, do me a favor. There's a guy over there that will write you up, and I'm gonna sit here and play Duck Hunt by myself.
All right, have fun, and thank you very much. I think I did all right. I think my negotiating skills are pretty sharp. I walked out with $650.